What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Daily Nonsense. My name is Adam Palmer. We are again here at the National. The doors have just opened up, and today's episode of the podcast is going to include some topics about Caitlin Clark, as well as some news from the repack industry. Like I said yesterday, although the show has started, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be giving any tips. This is one for if you're traveling to the show, try and get an Uber at one of the hotels around the area. You might save a couple bucks because there's going to be a lot of people who are leaving the show directly from the front entrance and trying to pick up an Uber at the same time as you. So as the show was getting started, Fanatics announced that the one-of-one Caitlin Clark from National Treasures has been graded and is going to be sold on Fanatics Collect. So now you might remember that in the past week or so, the one-of-one flawless logo woman Caitlin Clark sold for $660,000. This is from that same royalty product, which I'm not going to get into my displeasure with that product just from just overall. But the one-of-one National Treasures Caitlin Clark has now also surfaced, and like I said, it's going to be graded. I think kind of the interesting thing with that card is it seems like people are ignoring the fact, if I'm going to be honest, that it came out of a product that only had like one or two players in it. It doesn't seem to really have affected the pricing of the product. I mean, or the pricing of the card, because that card's selling for $660,000. The flawless one is a big deal, especially for a WNBA product, which up until 2020, there was only one or two WNBA products that were in existence, or not in existence, but that were in the repertoire of the releases that year. So the other card, the National Treasures, do I think it's going to sell for $660,000 also? I'd say probably not, because what ends up happening in the sports card industry, for the most part, and I've seen this across the board with different products, different cards, different players, is the first card that ends up selling of a certain player or of a certain product ends up being a little bit higher. So I probably think that although the National Treasures is a better card, that it actually is not going to sell for what the $660,000 one was, which I saw the promotion of it, I was like, didn't this card already sell? And then I realized that it was actually the one-of-one National Treasures, not the flawless that people on social media were talking about. So the other part of the Caitlin Clark story that I want to talk about on the show today is going to be that she actually commented on an influencer's post about her cards. The account is Hannah and Lib. This was a account that doesn't post anything about sports cards. It's just like it's a couple lifestyle account. They do have like 1.5 million followers. So the fact that she's interacting with that one is pretty cool. Also, the fact that she's commenting on anything sports card related is pretty cool. I think we are seeing more athletes get involved in the card industry, whether it's players trying to collect their one-of-ones. But yeah, Caitlin Clark apparently knows about sports cards, or she at least knows enough that she commented on the TikTok that the cards were pretty cool. So that's kind of the other interesting part of the Caitlin Clark saga. I mean, I don't know if we're going to ever see her at like a sports card event. Like maybe she'll come to the National, like maybe some year they will do a WNBA game while she's in Chicago. I mean, she is injured right now, so there is a chance that, I don't know, she could be here. I probably doubt that, to be completely honest, but it would still be really cool. Now, the other story has two companies that we're going to talk about. There was Courtyard, which is a repack company that does a lot of like online repacking where you can buy and sell the repacks all on their platform through an app, which again, it's the sports card singles, single sports card, individual cards. It's really become a lot of gambling because that's just what a lot of these companies are. The repacks, you're getting straight to the point. Like you're getting past buying the product. You're getting past trying to sell the cards yourself. You're getting past trying to grade them yourself. You're just going straight to you're opening a pack with a card that is graded. So they announced a new app that they have, which you'll probably be able to see here at the National. They also announced that they've got $30 million worth of funding, which realistically, some of that $30 million probably went towards the app creation. Because if you know anything about apps, they're not cheap to create, especially when you have so much customer data like they do. I mean, if you're starting from the ground up building an app, It's probably not super expensive, but if you have all this customer data and you're doing all of these features and you have all this stuff, it is going to probably rack up a little bit when it comes to the price of what they're spending on whoever developed the app. So that's a big deal. The other repack news that I think is maybe one of the bigger deals and one of the big stories you're going to hear about here at the National is that PSA and GameStop have announced their partnership with the repack product. Neon Cards and Comics, who is an account that I talk about every now and then here on the show, they put out a video talking about how there was an announcement that PSA and GameStop were teasing, and then they came out with another teaser, and then the news finally came out that they are launching their own repack platform, which this is something that Fanatics, I believe, is involved in. If not, I'm sure they're going to get involved in fairly quickly. But a lot of people are talking about repacks because I think it's one of the things that is holding up the sports card market. And I don't think that's really a hot take to say. I think anybody who is into repacks probably knows that without them, we probably see a decent shift in where the money is going. I mean, it could even be realistically why a lot of the market is still going up, or at least it's still there, because a lot of people are buying either, random cards to put in these repacks, or they're buying good cards to put into the repacks. They're buying graded cards, and you're seeing this even with, I think it was with PSA's, their vault, I believe, you can sell the card directly to PSA. So I mean, there are so many different options, and it's becoming so much more streamlined for people to get involved into the industry and getting involved in repacks or buying, graded cards or buying and flipping just all in specific platforms. It's becoming so easy that is a good thing. I think that's also one of the things that's getting a lot more people involved, because we've seen fluctuations in the popularity of the industry over the past, 5-10 years or so. But I think the fact that companies are now making it as easy as possible to get graded cards into people's hands, which is what I think ultimately right now the sports card market clearly wants. They want the graded cards. They want cards that are, high grades. Sometimes, obviously, they don't want low grades on their cards necessarily, but we are seeing that the repack market and the graded card market pretty massive when it comes to just the market in general. And I don't want to say that it's like a decent size of the market, and that is the reason why we are seeing the prices kind of still being pretty steady. But I think overall that is definitely attributing to some of those prices going up, because without some of these larger companies coming in and buying some of these cards, there's a chance that some of them would just sit on eBay or sit in people's collections, and that nobody would really want them, if I'm going to be completely honest. So that's all we've got for the episode today. Again, if you see me at the show, make sure you come say hi. If you're watching the show, make sure you like and subscribe here on Sports Card Nonsense. Everybody, enjoy the first day of the show, and I will see you hopefully at the show, or we'll see you on the next episode.